Perfect. Your total today is going to be $8.14.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So today I'll be taking home this brand new 2024 Toyota Tundra TRD Pro in Terra, the exclusive color for 2024 here. And no, I'm not trading in my 21 over here, but really I want to kind of remind myself, what is it like living with that new generation Tundra, with that new iForce Max, right? That new hybridized power plant. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've owned mine. I want to kind of get a feel of what it's like to drive it day to day. So shout out to Ken Garv Toyota here in Cheyenne, Wyoming for giving me the opportunity to take it home for a little bit, get behind the wheel, get reaccustomed to it, and give you guys my updated, honest opinion on it. So in today's video, I will highlight, my top 3 likes, top 3 dislikes, and really kind of go over what that residual value looks like on the new generation Tundra. It's been out for a couple of years now. What does that look like for it? I'll wrap up the video with, has my opinion changed? Do I still feel a certain way about this new generation Tundra? So stick with me. So both of these trucks look pretty menacing, right? They're both equally impressive in their own right. I want to make that very clear. It really is a matter of what do you prefer? Different strokes for different folks, totally, right? Are you the type to like old and archaic feeling, very simplistic feeling trucks? Sporting a very thirsty 5.7 liter V8, a very raw, visceral feeling truck right there. A little bit cheaper too, right? Are you that type? Or are you the type to really appreciate the modern creature comforts? Do you like having that additional tech? Do you like having that giant infotainment screen? A lot of digital displays, a lot of just additional technologies to help your driving feel. Not to mention a very, very modern and advanced powertrain, right? We got that twin turbo, 3.4 liter twin turbo V6 iForce Max. That's a hybridized platform there. 437 horsepower and 583 foot-pounds of torque. And when you compare it over here, we're starting to feel a little outdated. 381 horsepower and 401 foot-pounds of torque. Those are pretty different numbers, right? So today, we're going to really dissect this truck in particular, and I'm going to give you my honest, updated opinion on this platform here. All right, let's start with the exterior walk-around of the 24 Tundra TRD Pro here. So the front grille is pretty enormous on this new generation Tundra, right? I mean, it takes up a huge part of the front end here, and it kind of flows into, the lower valance of the front end. A lot of people kind of compare it to that Fu Manchu, but personally, I think on darker colors, to include Terra here, I think it's actually a pretty nice look. The headlights here are pretty, they're pretty well detailed. If you look in the inside, you can see a whole lot of metal bezel finishes within it, and they're pretty complex. So I really do think Toyota knocked it out of the park when it comes to the headlight design in particular. We do have a little bit of flow-through venting up front here, which is nice to see, not completely fake venting up front, and obviously a lot of flow-through here, which is nice when you do have a turbocharged platform, right? Underneath, you do have your TRD Pro skid plate, of course. And you get a glimpse there of the TRD Tune Fox suspension, which is extremely plush. Some of that digital camo up front. You see this all throughout the exterior of the vehicle. I think it looks pretty nice. Your fog lamps down below there, your rectangular ones anyway. No longer do we get that fake hood scoop up top, but you do get these, fake hood vents on the side, which I think look pretty sleek. I'm a fan of that look. A whole lot of curvature to the fenders now, right? And I really like that. Could they have made it a little bit wider to make it look a little bit more aggressive? Yes. And I think that would have been a really nice touch on the TRD Pro in particular. because it does meet a certain width requirement, the Department of Transportation does require that they put these marker lights on the vehicle, which look pretty cool. And we're used to seeing those like on the Ford Raptor, for instance. Do have that TRD light bar here. That looks pretty cool. We'll show you what that looks like as it's all lit up. But overall, I do think it is a pretty sleek design from the front end. Let's check out these forged BBS wheels. I'm a big fan of these. I think this might actually be my favorite aspect of the exterior design. I think they knocked it out of the park, and I do think they look better than the previous generation. You guys tell me what you think. These are, of course, 18-inch wheels there. Wrapped in some Falcon Wild Peaks. These are a great tire and definitely an upgrade compared to the previous generation. I love that they implemented that, kind of that the painted upper control arm, TRD upper control arm. That looks great. And more, of course, of that digital camo wrapped around the fender line. I'll give you a look down the line. Matte black for the side view mirrors. It does have integrated turn signal as well as that blind spot monitor. We talked about that. And some pretty simplistic hard plastic door handles here. As you just noted there, it does have that smart key system where you put your hand in it and it'll unlock for you. The previous generation had that huge cab before, where we kind of looks like they cut it a little bit. I mean, it's a little bit more tight in the back seat there, but not bad by any means. The back window does come up and down still, which is great to see. A very mature looking truck, right? I mean, it's not too over the top, which you can make that argument for a Ford Raptor, of course. I think it's a very mature looking truck, not too much and not too much in your face. Now the color here, Terra, the unique TRD Pro exclusive color for 2024, that could be up for debate, right? If this is a good looking color, but honestly, the more I'm around it, the more I actually like it. And in lighting like this, how the sun's kind of starting to go down and it's very cloudy out, I actually like that darker brown look. So close look at that tail light. More of that digital camo out back. You can see your parking sensors integrated in the back here. More digital camo up top. And again, the 3 marker lights out back as required. Instead of using the normal handle here, we'll do the little trick one. The release. And it does have a bed liner finish out back. Tundra embossed with some bed lighting to the sides, which is pretty nice. Your 120 volt plug in there. A pretty lightweight tailgate there. TRD Pro embossed in the tailgate in huge font. There's no mistaking what trim you got in this particular Tundra. And what do you think of just the body lines out back, right? I mean, I always kind of appreciated the extra subtleness of that previous generation, but this does look good. Let's look at the window sticker real quick. And this is kind of a point of contention for a lot of people, right? Just under 75 grand. That's a lot. That is a lot, but it's not just Toyota. I mean, all vehicle manufacturers cost a ton nowadays for their full-size pickup trucks. You're going to find that with the Ford F-150, the Silverado, the Ram. You're going to find that across the board, unfortunately, now. But at least this one, you do get 437 horsepower and 583 foot-pounds of torque. That's pretty incredible. Those are tremendous figures coming out of this platform. But still, 75 grand does put it about $21,000 more than the previous generation Tundra TRD Pro from 2021, just 3 years ago. So that is definitely a part of the rub for a lot of people with this. All right, well, I think we have dissected the exterior enough. let's go ahead and hop inside and remind you of what that interior looks like on this Tundra TRD Pro. So as a reminder, this is your pretty basic key fob for your Tundra TRD Pro. Nothing too fancy, hard plastic, a little bit of gloss black on it, pretty simplistic. We'll hit unlock here and hop in. So you are greeted with a lot of hard plastic materials, hard plastic finishes all throughout the interior of this Tundra. I do love the camo seats, that camo design to it. You can get the black or you can get the cockpit red between the Tundra and the Sequoia TRD Pro. Love the stitching there. I think it's a great looking steering wheel, minus maybe that. Don't love the little TRD logo down there. I think that's a little too gaudy for the steering wheel in my opinion, but minus that, I think it looks pretty good. You guys tell me. A giant, enormous pano sunroof, which is great. Didn't get that in the previous generation, that's for sure. And just overall, a pretty simplistic, a pretty nice place to be. A full digital display here. I'll start it up in a second. And a 14-inch multimedia infotainment section here. All of your climate controls, your volume control, your off-roading goodies are just easily within reach here, which makes it a very nice spot to be. Very intuitive, easy to navigate. And you definitely appreciate that. That is reminiscent of what we have always found within our Tundras and Tacomas. That Toyota Heritage script over there on the passenger side of the dash, I like that. I think that looks cool. Although I can see people maybe not loving that and thinking it's a little gaudy, but I like it. 4 cup holders, 2 right there, 2 up front. One thing to note is it does have a driver and passenger side grab handle, which is really nice, especially when you don't have running boards spec'd with it. Here are your all-weather floor mats with Tundra TRD Pro integrated within it, and your 8-way adjustability for your seats here, which is plenty good. Let me remind you what that back seat space looks like. Plenty of room, right? I think 9 out of 10 people will be plenty happy with this, the space back here. It's just the people who have come from the previous generation will compare it to that, right? And the previous gen had an enormous back seat. But again, a full-size adult will fit just fine back here. Let me show you. So I am 5'9". I'll give you an idea of what we're looking at. So a few inches above my head even. But plenty of space, no complaints whatsoever out back. Some of your more charging ports down there. Again, more of your all-weather floor mats going all the way across. Some more cup holders in your door cards. But again, holistically, everything really is just a cheap plastic. No metal bezels throughout it, which I think that is a level of appeal for a Toyota in my opinion. Let me start it up. Use that grab handle. Okay, so foot on a brake. We'll push our red TRD button to start it up. I love that startup sequence for your gauge cluster anyway. Get Toyota badge popping up over here. This looks pretty cool. Yeah, you're always going to get the people who will maybe not love that just because, hey, it's one more thing to go wrong. If anybody's going to get it right, if anybody's going to do this the proper way and make it to where it actually lasts, it's going to be Toyota in my opinion. So I have confidence in them for getting the tech right. And if they get it wrong, they're going to be quick to fix it, as Toyota always is. It's a very, very intuitive infotainment here, which I really appreciate. Everything is really big, easy to read, kind of what you'd find with like an Apple iPad, right? I mean, just very, very easy and simple to navigate, and I appreciate that. Your vents up and down. But again, lots of hard plastic everywhere. We do have a digital rear camera, rear view mirror, as well as your standard, of course. And there is your panel sunroof controls here. Plenty of space here in your center console to include some charging ports and a little spot here to put your George Costanza wallet. Sorry you guys see that, guys. But everything in here does feel Just kind of cheap, kind of chintzy, right? But I am speaking on both sides of my mouth because I do see that as a good thing. It's just, it's harder to justify when we're looking at a $75,000 price tag right there, right? But there you go, guys. Let me hop out and remind you of what this twin turbo V6 hybrid iForce Max sounds like. So let's get on that. I'll give you a glimpse of it from the interior here. The door is open. Oh, not terrible by any means, okay? It does still have a TRD catback exhaust. Now let me show you what it sounds like on the outside. And just for a comparison's sake, here's the V8. All right, let's set off. So it does seemingly absorb the bumps a little bit better than the 21 there. 21 feels a little bit more firm. A lot less body roll in the corner here for sure compared to that 21. You can hear the turbo or the intake sucking in air. That throttle response is quite impressive. You know, it definitely is an easy vehicle to drive around town. So I can see, you know, people really enjoying it. It's very comfortable. It soaks up the bumps. The Fox TRD tuned Fox suspension does a great job at really absorbing everything as you go over it. So that part is great. The one thing that just takes some getting used to if you're someone like me anyways, when you come to a stop, and I'll show you here in a second, you know, the engine cuts off, right? I mean, it's a whole hybridized platform. And it feels strange in a truck to me for some reason. You know, if it was a car, if it was a Prius, of course, you'd expect that it's in your mind. But, you know, that's just one thing to get used to with this. So we'll see here if it shuts off. So, I mean, yeah, we have no RPMs running right now. The engine is shut off. And then when I get on the throttle ever so slightly, you know, you'll hear it kind of kick into life. And even when I do that whole little growl there, I don't even really know if it's coming through the speaker system or if it's truly the engine, right? Because we do have that synthetic V8 sound being pumped through the speakers here, which, you know, it's hard for me to like that. Let me see if you hear it. See, the first little second there, it just kind of whistles, whines a little bit, like the battery-powered drive, and then you hear the engine kind of roar into it. Overall, I mean, it is a very comfortable truck to be in. It absorbs everything. You know, the longer hood could be a matter of contention for some folks too, especially combined with the turn radius that has been impaired in this generation compared to the last one. Last one had phenomenal turn radius, whereas this one, it is notably worse. So when you combine that with a larger front end, that larger hood, that is something to just be aware of. But I do like that full digital gauge display. That looks cool. I like it. And, you know, if anybody's going to get this stuff right, they're going to get this technology right, it is Toyota. I have faith in Toyota that they're going to get this correct. You know, and if there are bugs and kinks that they need to work out, they'll be quick to do so. It definitely throws you in your seat. Way more than the 21 Tundra. You get on the throttle and you're cooking, right? Whereas with the 21, I mean, there's a lot more drama involved. There's a big gnarly V8 just kind of screaming the entire time, but you're not going that fast, you know. But it is very dramatic, and it's fun, right? There's a lot of enjoyment for a lot of people, myself included. So, although a lot slower, the V8 offers a lot more drama, making it more exciting. However, if you're looking for that sheer thrill of speed and excellent torque, this is it. Hands off. There it goes. It kicks to the center there. Yeah, not bad. A lot of people appreciate that kind of stuff. And lastly, I want to show you what all of the exterior lighting looks like. This is with that TRD light bar on, of course, and you get a good idea of what those marker lights look like on the vehicle too, which looks pretty cool. Especially at nighttime, it looks pretty menacing behind you. Obviously, you wouldn't have your, your TRD light bar on if you're behind somebody, but it does look great. Let me show you around back as well. Again, more of those marker lights on the side and the rear. But I do like that. I like the lines on the taillights. That's pretty sleek looking. There's 3 marker lights in the back. Yeah, not too bad. Let me know what you think of the lighting on the Tundra TRD Pro here. Alright, it's that part of the video where you guys want to beat me up, and that's where I talk through my top 3 dislikes and top 3 likes. Keep in mind the things that I dislike most about this actually might be things that you prefer or actually find appealing on this particular Tundra TRD Pro. So keep that in mind. I'm just expressing my opinion here. So number 1 would be the turn radius, okay? I don't know who would love this really, but compared to the last generation Tundra TRD Pro, last generation Tundra in general, the turn radius here is much worse. And you'll notice that quickly when you get behind the wheel and you're trying to navigate a tight parking lot. So turn radius would be among my top 3, not in any kind of order here. Number 2 would just be the synthetic feel of the hybridized platform there. Some people will really love this. That's why I'm kind of prefacing it with that note there. I just don't like when you hit that start button, the power button, it just kind of buzzes to life. Whereas with the previous generation 5.7 liter V8, you hit that power button, you hit the start button, it roars to life and it growls. And I love that about that last generation, okay? And I'm not normally the type to say no replacement for displacement. I'm not that guy. I like to be open-minded to smaller displacement motors. This one just felt a little synthetic. And the fact that they pumped in a fake V8 sound in the speaker system kind of bothered me a little bit, unfortunately. So the last thing, perhaps the most obvious, would be the price tag. And I think that is honestly the rub for a lot of people. People, when they go to buy a new truck nowadays, they want to spend between like 40 and 50 grand for a brand new full-size pickup truck, because that used to be how much they cost not that long ago. But now it's across the board. It's not just for Toyota, right? Across the board, trucks just cost a ton now, right? I mean, now full-size pickup truck territory is over 60 grand easily. And this particular one being $75,000 really is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of people, a lot of Toyota enthusiasts in particular, because what have we gotten used to? We've gotten used to bare bones, simplistic trucks, very, very simplistic, raw, and just reliable vehicles. That's what we've gotten used to. So when we start stuffing it full of technology, stuffing it to the gills with all the additional creature comforts, it doesn't really sit well with a lot of us, unfortunately. So the price tag is just a tough pill to swallow for me and for a lot of people right now. Those are my top 3 dislikes. Let's talk through the likes now. Now the likes are a little bit more enjoyable in my opinion. So really, first off, I absolutely love just how capable this truck is, right? So it's kind of a catch-22. I mean, I don't like the synthetic feel of this hybridized iForce Max, but I do absolutely love just how thrilling it is to drive when you put the pedal to the metal. This thing cooks. All right, you feel that 583 horsepower throw you back into the seat, and it does feel extremely capable and wicked fast. So it is a thrill to drive when it comes to the performance numbers, and there's no denying that, right? Especially when you compare it to even like the towing capacity, right? We're 11,100 is the towing capacity on this TRD Pro here, compared to I think it's 9,900, or a little bit less than that on the previous generation. So we're up quite a bit, and that's pretty impressive by itself. So number 1, the sheer performance of the vehicle makes it a blast to drive. My second like is kind of a catch-22 as well, just because it doesn't really coincide well with the price tag. Although we got some additional tech in here, it is still pretty bare bones and pretty simplistic to the feel and touch. A lot of, hard plastic everywhere still, right? And it's just not too, I guess, appealing when it comes to the different finishes, right? It doesn't have any kind of metal bezels within here, or not many outside of maybe this right here, right? Everything is very much a hard plastic and pretty cheap feeling to the touch, to include like the door panels here, even the handle. On the new Tacoma, this is metal, whereas you got a hard chunk of plastic there in this. And I actually like this, right? I mean, I like that feel, because it's just very reminiscent of what we have always found in Toyota pickup trucks. but it doesn't coincide with 75 grand. If this truck here cost $54,000 like that last generation, that would make sense to me. And I think a lot more people would gravitate to this particular platform if that were the case. So the holistic, simplistic feel on the inside is a good thing in my opinion. And my third and final like really would be the wheels in general. I mean, this is my favorite design aspect of the exterior of the vehicle, but between that, the digital camo fender flares here, and these TRD Pro hood vents up top, I think between those really three things, I really like it, right? I mean, it's tough though because there's some design elements I don't love about the exterior, but when it comes to the wheels, you know, the trim pieces on it and that TRD Pro, the hood vents, I think it is a pretty cool combination that makes it pretty sleek. Now let's real quickly talk resale value. I did a quick nationwide search. You can find 2022 Toyota Tundra TRD Pros for the between low and mid 60s right now. Brand new in 2022, the MSRP was between $71,000 and $73,000, between there. Now we're looking at 75, between 74 to 77 grand for the 2024 model. So inflation keeps driving the prices up, the MSRPs keep going up, and that's kind of proving to the benefit for the 2022 models, if that makes sense. Although those are still down probably between 5 and 8 grand when they're used. So if you bought a brand new one for 72 grand back in 2022, you're probably looking at, you know, $63,000, $65,000 if you were to sell it if you have 20,000 miles or more. So it's doing well, and I foresee them continuing to do well because the prices keep going up. MSRPs keep going up. Now, if they start dropping the MSRPs or keeping them stagnant, that's when we'll really see a big drop in the TRD Pro in particular. So we'll wrap up the video there, guys. As always, I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to watch my videos and checking out my channel. If you haven't already, I do respectfully request that you do like and subscribe. Your support means a lot, and I definitely take notice of it. If there's any other vehicles that you would like to see on my channel, just let me know. Drop a comment. I'm very receptive to it. I love reading through all your comments. I love engaging with you all. So thanks for watching as always. Until next time.